Multifaceted journalism.
You can see that. I like it.
These camera guys take forever.
Well, keeping the fellas in with all the smoke, taking that extra precaution.
Not extra. It's the air quality says be inside, so trainers monitor that every day. So it's time to go inside.
And you're playing inside your first game, so maybe it's a good
Yeah, no doubt. So it doesn't bother us at all. That's the beauty of the indoor. Use it for different reasons. Sometimes we won't play in weather, and sometimes we're going to play inside. You got to get out of smoke. There's a lot of different reasons we can be inside that. So we're blessed to have that.
Hey, how has the air quality affected practice?
Zero, not at all. No, it hasn't. Today's, I think, the first day of the week. I kind of actually smelt it. You could see it, but this does. You can smell a little bit here, so it's awesome to have that go inside. But it hasn't. We haven't missed a beat with it.
Is it something that each morning, each night that you have to monitor, and if so, then you have to make that plan for it then?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. You know, whatever time we're going to go practice, hour before, we just, if it's close, the trainers just monitor and say we're inside or we're outside.
Is today the only day you guys went inside?
Only day.
So we're 11 days away now. Are you kind of still in the install mode, or when do you get in game mode?
Yeah, we're getting close, but we're still installing. We've had a bunch of stuff in there today. Had a good spirited practice. Guys did a good job.
What did you learn from Saturday for the scrimmage?
Pardon me?
What did you learn from Saturday's scrimmage, the second one?
Yeah, I think a lot of things show up. You know, I think the tackling thing is probably the biggest thing that always shows up. I think tackling shows up always in first games, first and second games. You just, as much as you practice it in close quarters, as much as you try to wrap up in practice, when it's really going live, nobody gets enough live reps to be really great tacklers out of the gate. And so I think that showed up. It's something we got to really work on.
How much is playing in space part of that on Saturday? Because Coach Hammond talked a lot about seeing guys being in space more on Saturday. Was that something you saw as well?
Well, I think that's the game. You know, that's college football. That's space. That's what Auburn's going to do. That's what, everybody does. And they're just trying to get their athletes in space. It's one of the harder things to do in football is tackle in space. And so it turns into a game of running and conditioning. You know, if those big guys can get out of the D-line and go chase things down, because usually one guy's not going to make the tackle in all the space. So that showed up quite a bit, and it was stuff that we're working on.
Have you started to figure out which freshmen are going to be able to play this year?
Yeah, that's gonna, that's
still
always,
working.
Yeah, that's always a tricky one for us. Even with the 4 games they can play and still redshirt. That's, it's not easy out of the gate because, we talk about those 4 games right away. Usually not. We'd like to use those late. So we're talking about the guys we really think might play the whole time. I guess we can hedge our bets if we do and something doesn't work out. But we're still working on that. I think there's a couple guys that we know are probably going to play that we're leaning hard that way. But
do you want to share that?
No.
Okay.
does the new redshirt rule give you a chance to experiment more with the freshman quarterbacks and maybe get them chance late in games and game film and stuff like that, or not really?
I mean, that's not the guys that I think of. Because again, if you get your backup quarterback in there, he needs as many reps as you can get, and usually in those times. If everybody's healthy, you're trying to get him as much as you can, and so to kind of piecemeal and get somebody on the field that's going to take some handoff snaps. So that might happen, but that's not really the guys that we're super concentrated on, like what we're going to do with those guys.
How important is special teams for those guys when you're talking?
What guys?
For true freshmen, when you're talking about whether they're going to be able to play right away.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of things, but we're going to play our best guys on special teams. So if a freshman's on that, then he's one of our best guys at that position that we think we can make our best guy rapidly. We're not going to risk anything by putting just guys out there. I mean, then special teams are too important to us. But we'd like to think that they could get on the field eventually, not only offense or defense, but in the special teams as well.
How much can you see guys like Saguan and Ty, who played as freshmen, not thinking so much in this fall camp, but just playing ball?
Yeah. You definitely feel a difference with all those guys that played. Part of it's thinking, part of it's just speed of the game, part of it's, Ty Jones, played in most games. You can see him growing and all those type of things as the season went on, but still probably didn't get him the ball as much as we'd like to. He picked up speed at the end, no fault of his own. And he he made some good catches and all those things, but he feels like a different player right now just by being, certainly with Savon and all those guys, those DBs that played, you know, it's like they really get a lot. So that's the beauty of playing those guys, even if they're not starters, even if they're not getting significant amounts of time, you really feel them the next year.
Coach, how does having a high-profile game on the East Coast help broaden your guys' recruiting reach and map?
Yeah, we're geographic recruiters. That doesn't really have a whole lot to do with us. We don't recruit the nation. If we have a fit, if somebody has an interest, if there's a connection, then we'll go across, you know, and make that happen. But, you know, we're in the West. That's always been our footprint. I think it's awesome for everybody to see, you know, our program and a big game like this on TV. But in terms of recruiting, heck, maybe some guy on the East Coast that's a young guy, sees Washington and likes us for a long time. And, you know, he reaches out and has some sincere interest down the road, and we'll go.
With Hunter Bryant, what have you seen from him? Because Coach Papa said he's working on the why. What have you seen from him in terms of the off the field and working and learning stuff like that?
Yeah, I've just seen a lot of him in the training room. Is all I've seen from Hunter right now. You know, he's in Coach Powell's meetings. I think he's doing a good job in there, but he's doing good. I mean, every day. I mean, just kind of walking by and don't think he's even injured or anything like that, but some of those just take time.
Is it more of a luxury to have when he does come back, when he is healthy, to just add to the offense versus kind of being a missing point to begin the season? Is that how you do it?
Yeah, you just always adapt and adjust, you know. I mean, he's obviously a guy that could do a lot of good things for us, but we just spin a different way. If we got a guy and he needs to get the ball, we try to give him the ball how we can. If we don't, we go a different direction with who the next playmaker is, and that's kind of our mentality with Hunter being out right now.
When you're putting together future non-conference schedules, how much is the college football playoff and the committee a consideration in terms of trying to build strength of schedule or trying to have these sort of high-profile games?
You know, I think it's too complicated for that for me. My brain's not smart enough to figure all that out. I think you play in this conference and you win this conference, I think you're going to be right there in the discussion. And depending on what your record is and all those type of things, and there's too many other things to worry about. You know, Jen and everybody else pays close attention to that. I think we've talked this ad nauseum about, you know, how you'd like to schedule that, how you'd like to schedule it, and what you get are completely different things. They're just not certain games you can play, and as far out in advance as well. And certain teams look a certain way, you know, a few years, and then some look better, some look worse. It's really complicated.
Do you think that the modern playoff structure has created incentive to play these games, or has created incentive to maybe not want to play these games?
Yeah, I don't know. They knocked our schedule a few years ago and we went to the playoffs, so I don't know. You know, we just try to win the games that are in front of us, and that's how my philosophy was at Boise. We don't worry about we just go play the games. You win all your games, you're going to the playoffs. That's how I think.
Good.
All right, guys.
Thanks, everybody.